evening. It is Monday, November 27th at 6:30 p.m. This is the Finger Lakes Regional EMS Council, and I welcome you all. We're going to start with the call of order, roll call. Michael's not here. Nate's got it.
Howard Clark.
Here.
Bill Camella. Lori Crane.
Here.
Jackie DeShaw. Everett Ferguson.
Here.
Diane Gary.
Yes.
Jason Haig.
Here.
Fiona.
Here.
Sandy Johnson.
Here.
Gloria Lance Taylor.
Here.
Arnie LaRocca. Joseph Lavancha.
Here.
Bill Little.
Here.
Brian Mace.
Here.
Olivia McKelvey.
McKelvey.
We had to update that. I'm here. Mike Moss. Miles Persing.
Here.
Terry Phillips.
Here.
Ben Pearson. Theron Smith.
Here.
Matt Spruill.
Here.
Chris Warner.
Here.
And Ed Wedge.
Here.
Thank you. Before we start, Olivia, I'd like to congratulate you on your new marriage. Congratulations. And have you all had a chance to read the minutes? Would someone like to make a motion? Lori Crane, Wayne County.
I'll make that motion.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the last, we're actually on the very first meeting, the annual meeting. I'm sorry, I should have said that ahead of time. And do I have a second for the annual meeting? Everett Ferguson?
Everett Ferguson of Cherry County. I second the motion, ma'am.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. That is passed. Now we're going to do the minutes for the regular meeting of September's. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes also? Sandy Johnson.
Sandy Johnson from Yates County. I don't know why. Accept the minutes of the last meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second for that? Sir.
Miles Persing, Seneca County. Second.
Thank you. All in favor of accepting the second meeting, the regular meeting of September, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is passed also. Coming into our committee reports, Mr. Secretary.
There was not a whole lot to do between the last meeting and this meeting. We went over and updated all of the attendance records and sheets. If you have a question on your attendance standing, please talk to me after the meeting, and we can go over. There are a couple people that are getting close to automatic dismissal, so if you have any questions, please let me know.
Do I have a motion to accept this report?
Brian Mace, Cherry County. I'll make the motion to accept it.
Brian Mace made the motion. Lori Crane seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. That is passed. Treasurer's report. I believe you have that in your packet. Any questions on this one? Mr. Ferguson.
Everett Ferguson, Cherry County. I move we accept the treasurer's report, profit and loss and balance sheet.
Do I have a second on that one?
Second. Ed. Never mind.
Oh, Mr. Smith.
Ken Smith, Yates County, second.
All in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried also. Thank you. Training and Ed. I think, Mr. Wedge, you had a report. Did everybody catch it on the way in?
Not my report.
No. Oh, Mr. Little. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the bill and calling him out. Sorry. Mr. Little.
You all have a copy of the gentleman from the training and ed. Have a copy of the report, I believe, in your hands. Any questions?
Yes, sir. I have one, Ed Wedge from Yates County. The last sentence. The committee's going to update the CIC policy statement and the CIC policy statement.
That's a typo, COI.
COI. Thank you.
Apologize.
My proofreader wasn't paying attention today.
All in favor of accepting this report with the change of the CIC to CLI?
Tad Smith, Yates County, move that we accept.
Do I have a second? Brian Mason, Ontario County, seconds that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I have to back up to the treasury report. Tad, I'm sorry, you cannot second your own minutes. So I'd like to bring this back up.
I have not had anything to do with the treasurer's duties as yet. I've been waiting the completion of the audit.
That's true. That is true. Yes, Mr. Wedge, or Mr. Everett. Wow. Part-timers.
He currently holds a position, and in fact, I would second his second so that it officially there is a non-presiding officer over that report.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
But officially, that report was prepared by my predecessor.
Thank you.
So my treasurer was approved by Everett, second by Tad and Everett.
Why don't you just make it Mr. Wedge?
Put that in there.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to say approved by Everett, and second by Tad and Ed.
Thank you. Moving back along to executive, I didn't write your report. We have been working on program agency administrator. We're going to work on that job description. And just some regular things we've been discussing. The conference is coming up. I hope you all plan on coming. So I guess that's my report. Can I have a motion to accept my report? Olivia?
Olivia McKelvey, Seneca County, I move to accept.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Brian Mays, Ontario County, seconds that one again. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Public relations, I don't believe we have any report. I don't think we have anything going on, do we? So there is no report. Moving right along to REMAC. Do we have a report for REMAC?
I can report somewhat on REMAC.
Okay.
Donna Spank. We had REMAC. There were no QA/QI issues as far as things being done wrong. We discussed any agencies that had not submitted their agency form online, as well as any folks who had not done the protocols or certificate of need information that was not submitted, or their insurance. We were down to a couple or three at that point in time that morning, and both of those we had spoken with so that they would be resolved fairly shortly thereafter. And then we discussed the conference, some of the presentations we were looking for from the conference committee to the physicians, and then there was conversation on the RSA practical that was held on November 7th. And Nate, I believe that was it, was it not?
We talked about physician credentialing.
Oh, yes, sorry. We talked about physician credentialing. Ben Sensenbaugh was here from Melrem's and pre-hospital care of U of R, because they have an online system for credentialing the physicians in Monroe Livingston, and we have the ability to piggyback onto that so that our physicians here that are not already credentialed through Melrem's would be able to use that system as well and do the credentialing. So we're going to move ahead with that. The docs looked at it, he presented it, and they approved it.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the REMAC committee from Donna and Nate? Brian Mason, Ontario County, makes a motion to accept it. Second by Fiona. All in favor of this? Aye. Thank you. Moving right along to State Council, Mr. Little.
Bill Little. You should have a written copy of my report. If there's any questions. Everett.
I'm sorry, Everett Ferguson.
Everett Ferguson, Ontario County. I move we accept the State Council report as circulated.
Sandy Johnson.
Sandy Johnson, Yates County. I second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? That is passed. Also, legislative review. Mr. Ferguson.
There's no report currently. The legislation's on recess. I do call your attention to your senator and assemblyman on Senate Bill 2770, which recognizes EMS as a essential agency, like police and fire.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson.
You're welcome.
Program coordinators report.
Sure. Conference committee has met twice. We are doing a little bit of a design difference from what we've done in the past. We're not going to have a guest speaker that starts out in the morning for an hour and a half and ends up at the end on Saturday with an hour and a half. We're going to actually do an hour to an hour and 15 minute per topic. And they will start right out. We're going to do all day Friday and an all day Saturday with various topics, so that a person, not a student, a person who is coming to looking for CMEs would actually be able to accumulate 13 to 14 CMEs over the 2-day period. We did pricing, a package for Friday, a package for Saturday, and then a package if they come both days is a little cheaper. And at REMAC, we talked about some of the topics that we had talked about. Some of the REMAC physicians stepped forward that day and said that they would be glad to help us do some of the different sections. So we're still looking for some other ones. Different ones on the committee are out politicking to some of the folks to get them to do some of the lectures. And so we will have another meeting this Thursday evening to see who we've got together so far and what's going on with that. And that's pretty much what conference has been doing.
All right, the other half of program agency, we've been focusing on communications. I have a front and back report in front of you. A lot of that's been both internal and external communications. Externally, we've updated the Facebook page. There was a unofficial page that we've assumed control over, and we've been putting out classes on that. So if you have Facebook, go and like our page. It's FLR EMSC, and you can stay up to date with all the different classes and communications that we're going to be putting out that way. We're in the process of updating our website as well. In the process of that, we found that we do qualify for a number of nonprofit services, free services. So in doing that, we have gotten email addresses for everybody on the council, everybody on REMAC, and everybody else associated that either instructs or does something else for the council. I'm going to pass around a list so you can write down your personal email address here, and the first password to log into that is ChangeMe1 with a capital C. And then I'm also going to pass around the instructions to forward that address to another email address of your choosing. They're included here as you pass it around. So if you don't want to add another email address to your phone and things, just simply forward the address, and that will come to your other email.
Change me one or won't go any.
Change me number 1 with a capital C. We have signed up for TechSoup, which is a nonprofit distributor of software. We were able to get to update our QuickBooks instead of the $600 or $500 that generally costs. It's only going to cost us about $125 to update that to the most current version. We're also going through an inventory in all of our IT surplus items. Some of those items we can sell outright, others we have to ask permission to the state because they're on record as belonging to the state because we're a nonprofit agency, so we're going to be doing that. The agency forms project that Donna talked about earlier, we have two agencies that have not submitted at this point, Clifton Springs and the town of Covert. And we're in talks with both of them to get that information updated. At that point, we will have a complete list of all the providers at every agency in our region, along with all of their officers and all contact information for those agencies, which we did not have up until this point. And that is the extent of my report.
Yes, Ross.
Ross Ezra from State EMS. For the town of Colbert, just get a hold of Brian directly and don't send it to the town because it gets lost there. Brian will take care of it in a heartbeat.
He sent it originally as Trumansburg, and it's like, it's not Trumansburg, it's got to say town of Covert.
Yeah. Well, they wear several hats over there, as you know. So I'm sure the contact information is exactly the same. So just change the name and protect the innocent.
Thank you for your report. Do I have a motion to accept this? Mr. Ferguson? Yes.
Somebody else can. Everett, Ferguson, Ontario County. I move we accept the program agency dual reports.
Do I have a second? Lori Crane.
Lori Crane, I second that.
All in favor of accepting this report?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. FLCC Director's Report.
Mine is handed out tonight. You have all the reports on there. Unless anybody has any questions. We do need to have a training and ed committee meeting very quickly after tonight's meeting to approve courses. And short of that, that's about it.
Has everybody had a chance to look at her report? Do I have a motion? Olivia.
Olivia McKelvey, Seneca County, I make a motion to accept.
Thank you. Sandy Johnson.
Sandy Johnson, Yates County, I second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor of accepting the FLCC Director's Report? Please say aye. All opposed? And Mr. Wadgett's nominating committee time.
I was handed an application tonight, but if you notice, we have 6 vacancies on the council. If you folks know anybody that's willing to serve, please take an application to them, and we will hopefully get back up near our quota of 30. End of report. Mr. Phillips.
I've already done all the checking on that one that I gave you tonight. So he is actually just a returning person that has been on this committee before and had to be excused for the lack of time. So to bring him up to get him actually voted on is something we can do.
Okay, I was not privy to that information, so I was not aware that he'd already been counseled. The gentleman's name is Kevin Becker. Kevin did sit on the council due to his job. He was not able to attend and was dismissed. He said the problem has been fixed and he wished to continue forward. So, thank you, Mr. Phillips. I was not aware that he had been already spoken to. Ma'am.
Fiona Jarrett, Powell, Dunphy, Seneca County. While he was gone, did he call into the council to tell you why he wasn't going to attend meetings?
He spoke with me personally, actually at the Penn Yan Ambulance Court, about why he was unable to attend.
But he spoke to you after you got a warning?
After he was dismissed.
But did he speak with you beforehand?
Pardon me?
Did he speak to anybody beforehand, before he became dismissed?
I don't know if he did or not.
He spoke to me quite often. And he was way out of town, but he has taken care of it and changed his program. I knew almost everything about it. But he has been in quite a few meetings that are not sitting here on full council.
Mr. Phillips, can you get the mic a little closer to you so you can get on record? Say his name. And identify yourself, please.
Terry Phillips, Ontario County. I did talk to him almost every single time, either before or after a meeting, and he just told me why he couldn't be here or why he was not able to be here. But he has been at quite a few of the committee meetings enhanced from that, and he's been trying to get me that application for almost 4 months. So he's wanted back on for quite a while now.
Nathan Miller, Ontario County. When was he dismissed previously?
It was last time.
When? How long ago? How long has he been off the council? Do we have that information?
Mr. Ferguson's got the record.
I think it's about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long. I mean, he's still been working on the conference committee. He's still been working with us. Mrs. Johnson.
Sandy Johnson, Yates County. Terry, can you tell us what the basic reason he wasn't at the meetings on a regular basis? Was it
He owns a company that does refereeing for high school sports and college sports. He owns the company. So he would have to fill in for a lot of guys all over the place. But he has rectified that so that somebody else has to fill in. And so he can take meeting nights specifically off where he didn't have that obligation before. He owns spots in New York and in Pennsylvania for schools.
Madam Chairman, from my records, it appears he was released 3 meetings ago, excluding the annual meeting, so it would be 4 meetings.
So it was 8 months ago. March. Yep, so we do have this application.
We can place him in an at-large position. There are 3 openings there, 1 expiring on 18, 1 on 20, and 1 on 21. I would recommend that we put him in the at-large position for the term expiring on the 18. Sir.
Madam Chairman, parliamentary point, he would have to be reapproved at the annual meeting next year anyway.
Okay. So we do have a motion on the floor to accept him.
I had not made the motion.
I will, Terry Phillips, Ontario County, make the motion to accept Kevin Becker as a member of this committee.
Does that need to be a motion, Nathan Miller, Ontario County, does that need to be a motion from the committee and then seconded by this body?
Well, Terry is on the nominating committee.
Madam Chairman, standard practice was that the committee would have to make a motion to the floor. I mean, the committee needs to get together, I believe, and make that motion, and make the motion for the year also, which Ed mentioned, but it's kind of fragmented. So what I've heard is that the nominating committee is recommending Kevin Becker, excuse me, to fill the 2018 at-large position. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
And we're looking at him as a new member, basically.
Yes.
Thank you.
Somebody else had their hand up over there.
Fiona seconds it.
Okay.
So all in favor of accepting Kevin Becker as a at-large member for the year, running for the year of 2018, please raise your hand. Looks like it's pretty unanimous. All opposed? So it is passed. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Wedge?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Ross is our state rep. Would you like to say anything at this time?
Ross Astro, New York State EMS. Just so you know, the department has successfully posted the position for the bureau director, and they 10 days later posted the position for the deputy bureau director. We have not had a deputy bureau director in the position since Marjorie Geiger left, so do the math. Those positions, actually the posting for the director closed today, and the posting for the deputy director closes December 4th. If you're interested, you can go to the health department's website and look under job seekers, and you'll find those postings there. Other than that, nothing earth-shattering that I'm aware of.
Thing.
Yeah, it's always a good thing.
Thank you. Unfinished business. Mr. Ferguson?
Everett, Ferguson, Ontario County. Before we leave committee reports, the bylaws committee, from the executive committee through program agency, has been offered a update to the bylaws. Each of you received a copy of the current bylaws.
Yes, it's in the packet.
Review them, make recommendations. The suggestion and the requirement for grant submissions really would be a new Article 2, which would be a clarification of our mission statement. Other than that, the committee will meet to discuss issues in January. I will send out a notification through the office.
Okay, thank you. Nate Miller.
As a aside to that, the mission statement, we're also looking at developing a vision and core values.
Thank you.
The mission statement is done, it just simply needs to be approved. The other two are in process.
Thank you. Anything else for the committee reports? Moving right along to unfinished business. We have no unfinished business. New business. We have a CON, I believe. Which has to be a roll call vote. Wait a second, I probably gotta go down and get it. Okay. She's gonna go get it, so while we're waiting for that, I'd like to tell you about Bob Stuber, the past program agency director. He has had a hip replacement. He's home, resting well, terrorizing his wife. So we wish him the very best. Were there any correspondence? Yes, sir.
I have a question, and it's really based right at Tad. Tad was voted in as treasurer in September, correct? And now you're literally going to wait till after the audit is done? Do you realize the audit is not truly done until they give us the report in January? So that means you're taking a 12-month position and dropping it down to 8. Correct? Correct.
Tad?
The alternative is accepting the actions of another person that were committed prior to my having any involvement.
Well, the other part of that, which is actually kind of funny, Sandy, have you been here any day that the auditors have been here?
No.
So then, Ted, it's a moot point. You should have already have that stuff. You should have already signed the paperwork to have your signature changed for the bank. Everything should have already been done in September, early October at the latest, because they didn't start their audit till November.
I would like to say something. The paperwork just came to us. I just signed mine today. Tad just signed his today. We're waiting for Mike Moss to sign. To do what? To sign so that we're on the bank card so that we can help.
Okay.
So it's
But
progressing.
it's also something that could have been done in September, 1st of October.
Unfortunate.
So to wait this long is, to me, is ridiculous.
Sandy.
Sandy Johnson, Yates County. I'm just somewhat concerned that maybe there's nobody who's officially in charge, and I know I haven't taken any responsibility or done anything to do with the treasury since the last council meeting, and
I think it's been being handled by the office. I think we're in fine shape. We have signed the paperwork, so you're it today.
Specifically, the night of the election, I talked to Donna after the meeting was over and said, do I need to sign anything right now? Do I need to do anything right now? And she said, no, we'll get that to you. And tonight, I was presented with this packet. This is the first attempt that anyone has made to tell me I have anything to do.
So thank you for your concern. This is a new point. So moving right along, we'll go into the CON. We have the CON in regards to the consolidation application pursuant to New York State PHL 3010 for transfer of controlling interest of AMR Holdco Inc. to Air Medical Group Holdings Inc. The Department of Health, Bureau of Emergency Medical Services had completed a fitness and competency review of the following entry and individuals. And it looks like it's good to go.
No, that's from the state. You've got to have the reading from the attorney.
You don't have that.
It's right here.
Oh. It's got to be read in. This is all got to be read in. Okay.
Well, do you want me to read it?
Yes. Yes.
So this is the reading from Steve Cohen, who was the attorney, the hearing officer attorney, and says conclusion for the reasons stated herein is a recommendation of this hearing officer that the application be approved. He found a complete application timely submitted, was reviewed, application for transfer of ownership, the affirmation of fitness and competency was done, statement of purpose and intent, statement of new owner, amendment statement of new owner, organization chart, deficiency orders, and operating certificates and such. So his tail end at the end says the very last thing is it is the recommendation of this hearing officer that the application be approved in its entirety without any limitations other than those imposed by the application itself. Dated November 1st, 2017, Steve Cohen, hearing officer, Buffalo, New York.
Any questions on this?
Can you repeat who? Chris Horner, Yates County. Can you repeat who the CON transfers
Is
from?
the transfer of controlling interest of AMR Holdco Incorporation to Air Medical Group Holdings Incorporated.
Yes, Ross.
Ross Astro, State EMS. You need to acknowledge that the fitness and competency was requested and it was returned, and what the result of that was. The vote here is on a transfer. The transfer is based on the fitness and competency of the receiving entity. There is no determination of need in these proceedings. That's what needs to be understood. It is merely a transfer based on the fitness and competency of the receiver.
And Richard Brandt from the Department of Health sent a letter dated November 2nd after we received Steve Cohen's information saying, based on the department's investigation and review, there appears to be no bar to the fitness and competency as defined in Article 30, Section 3005, Paragraph 8 of the Public Health Law of the aforementioned entity and individuals. This determination is based on the information provided to the department and information contained in the public record.
Yes, Everett.
Everett Ferguson, Ontario County. Based on the recommendations, I would move that we approve the CON request to change AMR to AMR Holding?
No, Air Medical.
Air Medical Holding?
Air Medical Group Holdings Incorporated.
Do we have a second to that nomination? Yes, Matt?
Matt Sproul, Ontario County, I second that.
Thank you. This will be a roll call vote. Mr. Secretary?
Howard Clark. Bill Camella is absent. Lori Crane.
Yes.
Jackie DeShaw is absent. Everett Ferguson.
Approve.
Diane Gary.
Yes.
Jason Haig.
Yes.
Fiona.
Yes.
Sandy Johnson.
Yes.
Gloria.
Yes.
Ernie's absent. Joseph Lavancha.
Yes.
Bill Little.
Yes.
Brian Mace.
Yes.
Olivia.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mike Moss is absent. Miles Piercing.
Yes.
Terry Phillips.
Yes.
Ben Pearson's absent. Tad Smith.
Approve.
Matt Sproul.
Yes.
Chris Warner.
Yes.
And Ed Wedge.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, it passes unanimously.
Thank you. Is there anything else for the committee? Before you leave, I'd like to remind you, your committee responses, assignments, I guess I would say, is been handed out. If you have a concern about it, please see me after the meeting. Yes, sir.
From REMAC through the RSI committee, we requested at REMAC to come up with some type of plan to identify RSI providers. That is a new thing for this region, to identify providers of doing a certain thing. At this point, we are going to be applying these very nice, very bright yellow cards with the words RSI on them and the pertinent information regarding that provider. They will be required to wear them during their shift duty, and that way any provider or any other agency in this area knows that they are ours providers in our region.
That was for your information only. Right, we don't have to vote. So is there anything else for the committee? Brian Mace? Do I have a second for the adjournment? Don't all go at once. You want to second that? All in favor? Have a wonderful Christmas. See you next year.